You have the power of choice.
Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ.
Welcome to Life Today Live. Randy Robinson here with a couple of very special guests, and a couple you've probably seen in different places, and so I'll just put it together for you because Carlos and Alexa PenaVega are really a dynamic couple, and they grew up in somewhat in the limelight. You may remember them from Dancing with the Stars, but even before that, Carlos was in a band called Big Time Rush that they made a Nickelodeon series out of. And Alexa was all the Spy Kids movies, which my kids grew up loving and watching. And those are some of those movies that the parents could sit down and enjoy watching them as well, which is always nice. And she's also on Ruby and the Rockets on ABC. So this is a couple that has grown up in what we would say in Hollywood or in the entertainment industry, but I love what they do in standing for their faith. And so they actually told their stories recently, just last summer, in a book called What If Love is the Point, and it is out and available, been out and doing very well. But they also have a new exciting project because not only are they a great couple, they're parents. And this is the new one. As of October 25th this year, Ocean's World, a kid's book as well. So a lot going on, and I'm very excited to welcome Alexa and Carlos to Life Today Live. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
All right. So I guess I kind of got to start at some of the top. Being in the entertainment industry, and yet being people of faith who openly talk about it. A little different at times.
Yeah. So crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. You openly talk about our faith.
I mean, how has it been for you? Have people been receptive, or has it been a little difficult at times, or just personally hard? What's it like?
That's why I say it like that, because I think at first it was definitely a thing. 6 years ago, it was like, are we gonna just talk about
right.
our love for God and Jesus, and how do you say it?
Okay, here, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take over for a second. Go. I think let's just say 10 years ago to when we first met. We were both going to our Bible study for the first time, and we were still very young in our faith and very timid about discussing it because we didn't know how it would go over. We didn't know how our industry would take it. But the more and more you grow in your faith, and the more you're surrounded by people who are like-minded, kingdom-hearted, it just becomes your life. And you can't help but talk about it. You can't help but live it. You breathe it. Every moment is just God is with you. God is in you, So I just felt like it wasn't as if we set out to talk about God. It's just he is such a part of our lives that we couldn't not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that kind of just answers the question. It just sort of happened.
Yeah. I also understand that you have some good friends and someone that we know, Jefferson Bethke.
The Bethkes.
Yeah. What's that influence been for you?
They were pivotal in helping us about 5 years ago when we moved to Maui. We had visited with them. This is kind of a crazy story, so I'm going to share it.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of doing Grease Live. We didn't have any kids yet. I had a 1 week break during Christmas because that's what they gave us. So I finished rehearsals. Alexa and I jumped on a plane and we flew to Maui. There was probably like two rentals available. We picked one. It was awesome. Nothing special, but it was near the beach and there were turtles. So we were pumped. And we're spending our Christmas there. And
I sent you a video, Jeff, that blew up online,
right.
Of doing the spoken poetry.
Yeah. And
this is amazing, babe. Check this out.
So we use the power of Twitter to
well, we just retweeted it and shared it with our followers. So he messaged us.
He messaged us and he was like, hey, about this. And he said, if you're ever on Maui, we'd love to, host you guys somewhere. And we're like, well,
you're on Maui, right?
We're on Maui. And he's like, oh, like right now. We're like, yeah, right now. And this happened to be the day before Christmas Eve. And he's like, well, I'm leaving the day after Christmas and this. And he's like, do you guys want to have Christmas Eve dinner with us?
Wow.
And Lex and I were like, what? I don't even know these people. They don't. What is a Christmas Eve dinner?
No, it was Christmas Day.
No, really?
It was Christmas
Okay,
Day.
fine. It was Christmas Day. Whatever. It was Christmas. It was their big dinner. So we show up at their house, never have met these people. Their parents are there. We're just totally welcomed into the family. We played games with, Alyssa's dad. And sorry, we have a kid knocking. Hey, Ocean.
Is that Ocean actually in the background there? Because what people may not realize is that Ocean's World, the book, Ocean is
Right
not
here.
just the, yeah, you got it, right? I got it too. That's the name of one of your children.
Yeah, so that's Ocean, and this is Kingston, and this is also Kingston right here.
Kingston.
Oh,
He
yeah,
just
Kingston.
keeps wearing my watch and my wedding ring, saying, "I just want to wear it for 5 minutes."
Yeah.
I love you. Got to love parenting. Never a dull moment.
Gosh, my grandpa's supposed to
Yeah,
be watching.
Grandpa's supposed to be watching them. It's not really working.
That's hysterical.
Okay, buddy.
Thank you, baby.
Hey.
Here, how about this? I'm just gonna wear it for right
Yeah,
now,
okay.
and then I'm gonna go put a different watch on you. How does that
Okay,
sound?
go
Come here,
for it,
cutie
buddy.
pie. I love you.
That is Kingston. He is one of the three, but yes, this character is Kingston, our lovable, sensitive child. Anyways,
So,
I don't even know.
we're
Jefferson Beth.
back to Christmas Eve or Day
Christmas,
dinner.
yeah.
With the Betskys.
So we end up showing up. We have dinner with them. We're playing all these cool games, and they just it was incredible. They just welcomed us like we were, had been family for the last 20 years. It was not awkward whatsoever. Had a great time. Jump to a year later. He was one of the first people that I wrote that we were pregnant, because I just loved seeing his family dynamic. I think him and Alyssa have done such an incredible job. With their kids and with their team, as they call it, the Bethke team, and just keeping everybody under one roof and happy, and this like really awesome cohesive unit. So I message him. I'm like, hey, we're pregnant. And a year later, or 9 months later, Ocean is born, and we realized that we did not want to raise a kid in LA. And I came to Alexa in the kitchen. And I said, I think we should move to Maui. And normally she goes, okay, like you're crazy. This time she goes, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, sweet. So I leave to go to the gym, and I was like, wait a minute. So I walk back inside, and I was like, was that like a for real okay or not? And she goes, no, let's do it. I said, listen, I'm gonna walk out this door. I'm gonna set everything in
I'm
motion.
gonna make it happen.
I'm gonna list the house. I'm gonna do it. I'm a go-getter. And she's like, do it. So I left. We moved to Maui. And in the process, we stayed with the Bethkes again as we searched for a house. And yeah, they were very, very, very pivotal in our move, and such a great example of a family dynamic that we have been building too.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and I was raised in the church. I've been around Christian ministry all my life, and faith is obviously a very personal thing. But the reality is, there's also this level, and Alexa, you mentioned the word kingdom. And that was like such a big thing. I mean, that's in a lot of ways, that's the whole message of Christ and the whole message of Paul, and it's all through Scripture, beginning and end. And what happens is when you change, when you are a dead person come alive, because it's not about making bad people good, it's about making dead people alive. You're spiritually alive. You want to talk about it. You want to share it with others, and it just everything's different. Life is totally a whole different thing. How has that sort of realization pushed you guys to go ahead and be like, you know what, we're not going to hide this light on under a barrel. We're gonna shine.
I don't really feel like there was ever this one big moment. Like, I know sometimes people have that aha moment, but I think because our growth wasn't just overnight, it really was just season by season.
Well, I think that's better, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, because there wasn't this drastic change where it's like, not that there's anything wrong with that. I think it's amazing when you see
Right.
people like do a complete 180. Our lives did become a 180, but over the course of a few seasons.
Yeah.
And And I think because of that, we just kind of became where we were. There wasn't this one day where it was like, and then the next day I threw it all away. It was just kind of like it happened. And it's just been really fun because it is who we are. Like God is a part of everything I do so much that like my personality is my faith. I don't know how else to explain.
I always tell Lex, I'm like, look, or just, people in general. I was like, I'm not that Christian who can recite every single scripture and preach to your face until it falls off. I am not the Christian who gets up at 4. One of my best friends, both of my best friends, get up at the crack of dawn and spend an hour with God alone in a prayer room. And I am not
in time.
No.
I know.
But hold on. It's okay. So I had a conversation with my spiritual father, and I was kind of telling him this, and he goes, what I love what you guys do, and I'm kind of bragging on me and Alexa now. This is weird, but he was like, I love that you guys truly live, like you practice what you preach, right? I'm not anything different. Like what you see
Sure.
is what you get.
Well, yeah.
And we truly try and live for Jesus. Because to me, that's the best example that I can give to people.
100%.
I can tweet, Ephesians this, blah, blah. I like people see me and they immediately know that something is different.
Exactly.
And
that's it.
is the best example. And he made a correlation because he's doing a study right now. He goes, that's how it was in the early church.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, that's like all they had was their life to live by. Sure, they could like memorize some scripture, but they didn't have like a book to like sit there. Yeah. And I don't know.
No,
again, I'm not like, yeah.
I love that. And a couple of things, Alex, you talked about growth. If we saw Kingston a second ago, if he'd have popped out a 10-year-old, we'd have all been very concerned.
Yes.
When you're spiritually reborn, you got to crawl, and then you got to walk, and then you can run. And the best way to show other people how to run is just to go watch. And so I'm going to live it out, and you'll see, we always
tell people, sorry.
No, go ahead.
We tell people the best testimony that you can give someone is the consistency in your walk with Christ. Look, we're all going to fall short. We're all going to have our moments where it's like, I could have had a little more grace with that person, or, whatever it may be. But the best testimony is your consistent walk.
Yeah, we use that word a lot in our memoir because, especially in our industry, you have people who wear Jesus as a chain. It's just like and again, look, I see somebody wearing a cross, and I immediately assume like, oh, you must love Jesus because you must know what the cross stands for. And look, I get it. It's a cool thing now that people wear. It doesn't mean what it means to me, to everyone else. But my biggest issue is when I see people preach something and then
live a different
live a different life.
Yeah.
And in our industry, that's a lot.
It's hard to watch.
And I'm like, you're not showing people consistency. You're confusing people, and ultimately, you're making it harder for us who are trying to live the example. So
no, and that's the get into some of the Greek, not to nerd out too bad, but I like to. Is we talk about integration. Integer is a whole number. Disintegration is when something is not whole, and when people are not the same publicly and privately. That is a disintegrated, and what we call a lack of integrity. It's all same root word. So 100%. So how's this going for you? Because you wrote the book that came out in the summer, and you're not holding back. And now with the children's book, a little bit lighter fare, in the sense of message, obviously perfect. But what's been sort of the response, and how have you guys grown through this season?
Sorry, our child is doing something in the other room.
I warned you.
He did. He did.
Sorry, will you repeat the last part of your question?
Just how's this last season where you've been publicly talking about these things? How's it been for you guys?
Okay, so when we were writing the book, we knew it was a very vulnerable thing just because we were sharing things that we've never shared before. We wanted to be very truthful, but we also wanted to err on the side of caution just because there are a lot of people that we love that are also involved with our story that we just want to make sure that we were covering, but still telling the truth on everything. So I think, having the book come out was a little scary, but also very relieving, very, very relieving. And the response has been so overwhelming. I can't tell you how many non-Christians that have read this book and that have just like grown in a relationship with God and discovered God and are now going to church and meeting friends that are now, kingdom hearted people.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to see that just telling our story, God worked like throughout all of it. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it other than like God really is always at work, and it's just been a cool season seeing all the testimonies from it.
Love it. No, and that's it. I mean, it's the word of our testimony has power, and it's not it's not a testimony of perfection. It's a testimony of being perfected in Him.
Oh, no.
I love it. Okay, let's get to the kids' book because that ostensibly is how I got you to do the interview today. But
Listen, we would have done it for the other book too. It's just
that summer was
that summer was insane.
oh, good. I hope a good and kind of insane for you guys, but
It was great, but
scheduling was very difficult though.
44 shows, a whole family on a bus, 3 kids. Like it was just. I mean, we laugh about it now, but in it,
doing the book tour and the movie press.
Yeah.
And your
sometimes you bite off a little more than you can chew. And then when you're in the storm, you're like, well, this is my fault. So,
people say, well, isn't it the consequences of my own actions?
Yeah, it is. It was. And there's nobody holding an umbrella over us. So we just had to go through it.
So, okay, well, let me ask you about that real quick. But what is that like? Because that's a people glamorize that thing, but I know enough to know that is not an easy life.
No, the first month was amazing. The second month was like we're living on a bus. Like this is hard.
Yeah.
Sleep definitely was rough. I mean, I think the hardest part about being on tour is I use this word and I don't use it to scare people away. It's just what it is. But the music industry is such a secular world, and the people in it, they're very different. And for us as believers, like it's hard not being around like-minded people all the time. So when you're on the road and you're traveling and you're tired and you're exhausted, like there is so many emotions. And then you add in there a layer of not being surrounded by like-minded people. I mean, we really only had each other. And if you're married, that you can only take so long of it, and then you're like, yeah.
No, that's the part. No, Carlos, that's the part where you say we only had each other, and that was enough.
And that was enough. My bad. No, but I think that was the hardest part. Sure, you know what? The bus was nice, and I love performing, but I missed being around our our close friends. Like I spent a lot of nights, calling my, spiritual father or just something and just being like, hey, listen, can I just talk to you about the stuff that's going on? And
I always say, if everyone could do it, then, if it were that easy, then everyone would do it. But it's really not an easy life. Like, I don't think people understand. Like, there are very few people who understand the being away and not sleeping in your own bed for 9 or 10 months out of the year.
Yeah.
And then having to be on all the time, because there's never really a break where you can just be like, okay, I don't have to smile or like sit here and like, not that everything's a performance at all. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But sometimes, like, the reason why I have some of my best girlfriends is because I can sit on the couch and we don't have to have a conversation. We can literally sit on the couch and say nothing. And that's why they're my best friend, because we don't have to entertain one another.
Right.
And something that's hard about being on the road and being in the industry that we're in, there's this constant expectation from other people to have to entertain.
Yeah.
So even when you're exhausted, you have to be on.
You show up to the next city and you got people waiting for you
who paid money
who
to
paid
see
money to be
you.
there, but they don't know that you've just done 4 other shows in a row and 4 other meet and greets, and you have 3 kids, and you're changing diapers, and you haven't slept.
Right.
You're giving a lot of yourself over.
Yeah, so
A
it's
lot.
tough, but
Well, it's work. I mean, it's what we call it the entertainment industry, but when you're in it, it's work.
It's work, and I mean, this is our job. This
yeah,
is what we do.
those 2 hours on stage every day, thankfully,
That's
make
the easy
it
part.
it's the easy part, but it makes it all worth it. Like
Yeah.
all the struggle and everything, those 2 hours, like you get off stage and you're like, this is why I love what I do. And you kind of have to keep that mentality the whole day. You're like, look, I'm exhausted, but I'm doing this because of this.
Interesting. If there's anybody that understands the godly principle of rest and the need for it, it would be you guys.
Well,
gosh, yeah.
I'd say that he's been giving us a crash course in like, you need to rest.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Okay, the kids' book, Ocean's World. Why'd you decide to put some time and energy and sort of your, if I can use the word, celebrity collateral into a kids' book?
Well, we like biting off a lot more than we can chew.
Yeah,
I say
I heard
that.
that.
When Ocean was born, we struggled a lot with like kids television and programming. I mean, he liked Bubble Guppies and you know, stuff like that. And I tried Dora the Explorer, and he wasn't really into it. So I kind of came up with this idea back when Ocean was like one or two, and I said, I want to make the new Dora the Explorer, and I want it to be about Ocean and this world that he lives in. He gets to travel around, and we kind of like threw it back and forth, and you know, moved to Maui, so it all was like making sense, but nothing ever, like we never actually like forced anything.
We didn't pursue it,
which was really interesting because that's how our other book, our memoir, What If Love Is the Point, happened. We didn't really push it. We just let God's timing and God do all the work.
All fell into place.
He put the right people in our lives at the right time. And when we were doing the memoir, we got in touch with you know, Tommy Nelson over at HarperCollins, and they were like, have you ever thought about doing a children's book? And I was like, actually, I have. And I said, I want to make this TV show, but what if we start with the children's book? And they said, we love it. So we pitched them the idea, and here we are a year and a half later, and I have it in my hand. And we took so much time. Like most people think, you know, oh, a celebrity wrote a children's book, like they just put their name on it. Like this is all us.
Baby.
I mean, like you, like I wanted it to be interactive. So like you touch like all the letters, like it's raised and there's foils. And, you know, in the first book, the kids are trying to find, they're on Maui, and they're trying to find a sunrise seashell, which is a very rare shell.
You can only find on Maui.
Yeah, you can only find them in Hawaii. And I really wanted the ending. I'm spoiling it. They find the seashell, but I really wanted the end to like be special. So they find all these shells throughout the book, but then when they finally find the sunrise seashell, you can touch it. You can kind of feel with the texture, and it's shiny. And I don't know, like this to me, I keep telling people it's my 4th child. You know, it's our 4th child. Alexa just doesn't have to breastfeed it.
You know, we
First time
homeschool.
that's ever been said on my show. But
I know. Thanks, babe. We homeschool, so we really wanted to find a way to implement learning, but not making it over the top, just making it really simple, fun for kids. And I think that we found a really happy balance with the book of adventure, but then also teaching kids about migration and
how high dolphins can jump, and
just little
and like all the Hawaiian phrases, and we break them down like lilikoi and
just kind of what our kids were learning at the time.
Sounds fun.
It is fun. It is fun.
Wait till it's a TV show. That's
I
gonna
know. Well, it sounds exciting. Like this is not. I love that you said in the first book, right?
Yep.
Yes, we have
We might
plans.
be working on something
I'm working on the
else right
second
now.
one, and you know, our sailboat adventure might be part of it. That's all I can say.
Oh, nice. Oh, I'm intrigued. All right. Carlos and Alexa, I love the authenticity, and you guys just keep growing in the Lord and shining, and bless you guys. It's been fun. Is there anything that I missed that you need to mention before I let you go? I appreciate your time too.
No,
No,
you know what?
thank you.
Ocean's World is out for pre-order now, and
the song.
yeah, my bandmates over the summer, they said, "Hey, what do you want for your birthday?" And I said, "You know what? I know what I want for my birthday. I want the four of us to sit down and write a theme song for Ocean's World.
Oh,
And they said, no way, really? I said that would make my day. So we took 2 days and we wrote a really awesome song. And we have a artist and producer, Mafio. He's like big in the Spanish world. He's also featured on it. Big Time Rush is featured on it. And we're super excited. So you can,
And it's only available
Yeah,
for
so-
people who pre-order. the
yeah,
book.
so it's basically free. So if you pre-order the book, you're gonna get the song. It's featuring Big Time Rush and Mafio. It's called Ocean's World. And I think kids are gonna love it. I mean, our kids sing it all the time. Like they love it, love it, love it.
all right. Again, release date October 25th. So if you're hearing this before that, you can pre-order and get the song. If it's after October 25th, just go get the book and get it shipped to you
Yeah.
immediately.
Come on.
Ocean's World. Again, Carlos and Alexa, appreciate your time. Appreciate all that you're doing. This is good. This is fun.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
for
much.
having us.
See you, buddy. Bless you.
Appreciate you guys out there watching. Hit share, hit like, hit follow, subscribe,
All we do is win big.
and come back because we got more for you next time here on Life Today Live. We'll see you.
You're about to ask big. I'm believing God for favor in my life. Above all that I can ask